So you've downloaded Cyborg Elements 1.0 and now you're looking at your files for download. First, you should make sure that you download everything that is needed for your future projects. Cyborg Elements consists of a few different folders. Here they are as listed in Gumroad. You have the Cyborg Elements 1.0 AE or After Effects files. You're going to want to make sure that you download that. It is 91.1 megs. And then you have your droppable pre-keyed elements for editors. Now this folder is going to be a lot bigger. It's 2 gigs, but it's going to be all the .movie files, they're QuickTime files, that are pre-keyed, and they're for dragging and dropping into your editors of choice. Things like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut, etc. So for larger formats, if you want them to be larger like 4K or anything, you're going to have to open up the Adobe After Effects files directly and just render those over to Adobe Media Encoder at the matched settings. Then you also have different project fonts that are in there. Some of the comps use this free font called Eurocaps, which is a pretty great font in my opinion when it comes to like futuristic user interfaces or heads-up displays or anything of that nature. It's a font that's designed by a user named Ash Pikachu inside of a website called DaFont. I'll make sure to add a link to that. And then there's also documentation. So if you want to be able to know how to use Cyborg Elements or what's what, you can click the wiki link and it'll take you to a comprehensive table of contents and instructions on how to use the file. What you'll see in your downloads are a few different files. One of them is the Cyborg Elements core folder, which is going to have your primary assets folder as well as Cyborg Elements v1.aep. Cyborg Elements v1.aep is an After Effects file that's going to allow you to customize all of the components that are included in the pre-animated assets as well. Primary assets is just a folder that's going to contain the 2D versions of these items that are just at a standstill. They're just images that you might want to use for graphic design purposes. You also have a few frames in there to use as well. The 3D monitors folder is just a folder of a few transparent assets that look like 3D monitors that'll allow you to put in whatever you want, honestly, if you're compositing inside of After Effects or whatever your editor looks like. You can maybe even use some of the components from Cyborg Elements 1.0 inside of there so that they can be in the background if you are using a green screen. But over here in the Elements folder, you're going to see 2 different folders included, where it says Animated HUDs or Animated Heads-Up Displays and Prekeyed. In the Animated HUDs folder, you're going to also find a 1920 by 1080 folder, and inside of that, a Prekeyed folder. And you will find a few elements that are going to have just sort of pre-keyed, pre-animated templates that already have heads-up displays that look somewhat like this. It's just so that you can drag and drop them onto your video without having to do a whole lot of editing yourself. And then we have this pre-keyed folder, which is going to have all of the elements that you're going to need in order to be able to use these inside of editors like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve. Let's see what it's like when we actually drag them into Premiere Pro. So once you have the pre-keyed folder open, you can actually drag them all into Adobe Premiere. But first, I want to click inside of here and make a new bin inside of the project window here. I'm going to name it Cyborg Elements. This is going to be the folder where I'm going to put all of the drag and drop elements that are inside of the pre-keyed folder inside of the Elements folder. So I'll just shift click and select all of these, and then I'll just drag them over into Adobe Premiere. Once it's hovering over this, you'll see that the 67 items are ready to be copied in, so I'll just drop them in there into the project bin, and it should load in pretty fast. As you can see, when you scrub over these items, you can actually see a small preview of what they look like when they are animated. But what you can also do is double click on them, and it will show inside of the source window in Adobe Premiere. Once they're in here, you're ready to go.